Outside of Kelly's, Sunny tells Carly that he's probably the last person she wants to see and to give everyone his condolences. Carly runs into his arms in tears. Carly invites him in, and Sunny says if there is anything she needs to let him know. Carly says Drew and Lucas are taking care of Wiley, and Michael and Joss are heartbroken. She hasn't told Donna and Avery, and she doesn't know how to tell them Bobby is gone. Sunny says she doesn't have to tell them alone, and recalls when they both had to tell Avery about Mike, though Donna was too young to understand then. He says the girls will be okay, but how is she doing? Carly cries it hurts. She came here to be closer to her mom, and she misses her so much. Sunny says Bobby was a force of nature, and not always his biggest fan. Carly says Bobby liked him. She just didn't want to see her daughter hurt. Sunny thinks Bobby just wanted her to have a happy life, and she couldn't with him. Carly says her mother accepted her choice, and she accepted and loved Sunny. Sunny never wanted to let Bobby down. Carly says Bobby was the most sensitive and open-minded person she ever met. Sunny adds that she accepted people for who they were, and that's why she was so loved. He guesses Bobby was relieved when she got with Drew. Carly says she was happy for her, and she's thankful Drew was there that night, especially when, Sunny says, Nina showed up. Carly doesn't want to talk about Nina, but asks if he needs to talk. He doesn't. Carly knows he was hurt by Nina's actions too, and she wants him to be happy and is sorry if he isn't. Sunny notes that right there is classic Bobby. Sunny says he saw how hard she worked for Bobby's forgiveness, and they had a beautiful relationship. He realizes they inspired him to be there for his dad. Carly is glad he made peace with Mike, and hopefully, Mike is welcoming her mom right now. He wishes he could have thanked Bobby when he had the chance, but he will tonight in his prayers. Sunny offers to drive her home, but she wants to stick around a little longer. She sees the cuts on his hand, and he explains he lost his temper. She asks if it helped. He admits it didn't. She thanks him for being here for her tonight, and to get home safe. Sunny tells her that Kelly's looks great, and Bobby would be proud of her. Ava arrives at the PCPD per Dante's insistence. Danny says the person who broke into Windermere has confessed. In the interrogation room, Esme paces, and Laura tells her to calm down and that she is doing the right thing coming forward. Laura assures her once she tells the truth, she'll feel better. Ava enters and glares at Esme. Laura thanks Ava for coming, and she hopes she will hear Esme out and they can maybe work something out without going before a judge. Ava will hear Esme out, and this better be a convincing tale. Esme confesses she went to Windermere to try and remember, to figure out who she is, and she thought she could get something back by being there. She apologizes for invading her space. Dandy asks why she just didn't ask Ava to be let in. Esme thinks that given their past, Ava wouldn't have allowed it. She wants to just be the best mom to Ace and to prove she is someone who can be trusted. Ava asks Esme if she remembered anything. Esme says she doesn't know who she is and is just as lost as ever. Esme begs Ava not to separate her from her son, and Laura asks Ava to please drop the charges so they can work something out. Ava asks Dante how much time breaking and entering will get someone. Dante says that given Esme came forward, and she didn't steal anything, she probably won't serve much time. Ava gathers a year at most then. She decides to press charges, shocking Esme and Laura. Ava says Esme is still the girl who never paid for any of her crimes. So this slap on the wrist is a start. Ava storms out, leaving Esme terrified. Laura follows Ava out to the station and says it was obvious she went out of her way to see that Esme got a light sentence. So why did she do it? Ava says she's not heartless, but Esme deserves to pay for a crime she committed for once. Laura says Esme has a baby. Ava says that baby has a family to take care of it. She warns Laura she has a large heart, and Esme will not change her ways, much like a leopard changing its spots. Gregory stops by Alex's office and hopes he's not bothering her. They think about their kiss, and Alexis says she's glad he's here. She printed the photos of their plane jump out, and she thinks they should get certified and learn to jump solo. Gregory has to pass as once was enough for him, and he's got more on his list. Gregory also thinks they need to talk about the kiss. Gregory needs to apologize to her, and he shouldn't have kissed her. Alexis understands it was the adrenaline rush, and they don't have to make more out of it. She also reciprocated the kiss, but he thought it was a sympathy kiss. He wonders if she'd have kissed him back if she didn't know he was running out of time. Alexis doesn't know what she would have done, and she knows what she knows. She tells him he doesn't have to apologize. Jumping out of that plane was the most exhilarating moment of her life, and the kiss wasn't bad either. Gregory calls her a good friend, and he hopes they can stay friends as so much in his life is changing, and he needs her to be his constant. She assures him that won't change. He urges her to try skydiving solo, and he'll be there cheering her on. At the hospital, a doctor tells Portia and Curtis that Curtis is a great candidate for this trial. The doctor reveals out of 25 surgeries, 3 have been successful. He also goes over the risk factors, and Curtis says they are aware. He gives them a minute to talk and says if they are having second thoughts, now is the time to opt out. Curtis asks Portia what she's feeling. Portia admits up until now she's been looking at this as a doctor, and she believes in this procedure, but as his wife she is scared. He says he won't have the procedure if she doesn't want him to. The doctor returns, and Curtis is about to tell him that they won't be going through with the procedure, but Portia insists they are both ready to do this. In the waiting room, Stella worries about what will happen if the surgery isn't a success, and she doesn't want to see Curtis fall into a depression again. Marshall snaps at her that if she can't be all in, she shouldn't be here, and he storms off. TJ goes after Marshall, who feels bad for losing his temper and needs to apologize to Stella. He admits Stella said everything he's been thinking, and he too is terrified something could go wrong. He'd rather have Curtis in a wheelchair than not at all. TJ explains this surgery will be done by the best doctors, but it does have some risks. Plus, if this gives Curtis a chance to walk again, they should support his decision. Marshall says he'll still breathe easier once he's out of surgery, and TJ says they all will. They embrace, and Marshall thinks he should go give that apology. TJ asks if things are okay between him and Stella. Marshall flashes to their close embrace at Christmas and tells TJ they are fine, just nervous. Meanwhile, Stella feels she should have been more supportive. As she babbles, she sees something is bothering Trina. Trina tells her about the Paris study abroad program, and she doesn't know if she should go with Curtis' surgery. Stella says she knows what she would do, and she urges Trina to go to Paris. Stella has been in her place. She gave up her dreams and ambitions to help her sister raise Curtis and Thomas. She doesn't regret her choice, but this is a different situation for her as Curtis has an entire family around him. She tells her to go and have a life-changing experience. Marshall apologizes to Stella and admits she was saying everything he was feeling. She accepts his apology. Marshall feels they have been dancing around what happened between them on Christmas Eve.